also need to let you know that we're live on YouTube. You can go to youtube.com/channels television. Don't forget to click the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. You can also let us know if you click on that button where if there's any updates, you may be the first to get it if you click and subscribe to it. You can also send pictures to us via any of our social media handles. All right, so moving on now with this conversation in terms of a reality check, where we are, what we need to do. But Prof, are you optimistic or what in terms of, because yes, we know that there was an electoral amendment bill that hasn't been assented to by the president, but there are those who strongly think and feel they're quite optimistic that, who knows, this time around, he's going to have a sign and then to take us to the next level for these elections. Do you share the same view?
Well, the president wants to take Nigeria to the next level. So I take it that part and parcel of that aspiration is to clean up, our electoral system such that it will admit of a digitalized system. Well, what we have seen defies even the aphorism by Tip O'Neill, one-time Speaker of the House of Representatives in the U.S., that all politics is local. And you think people are nearer to their governors, to their state assemblymen, so that they will come out, they troop out in thousands. But what we seem to see belies that position. So that tells me that something is wrong with our electoral system. And efforts were made. Maybe the 8th Assembly should take a fresh look at the entire electoral bill before it's passed into an act. So just not to end up like the PIB, there's something which takes into account all that you have experienced. For instance, it's untoward to have soldiers, as it were, monitoring or even actively participating in the electoral process. It's a vote of no confidence in ourselves, that we are immature. And I listened to the Chief of Army Staff. He said they have to complement the efforts of the police. But we've had stories of the soldiers taking initiative, which again is a very discouraging statement on the state of affairs in our country. So there are so many deleterious aspects of our electoral democracy that we have to consign to limbo. So definitely I agree with you, Chamberlain, that the new Electoral Act that is coming into being should cure many of these rough edges, as I always say. Now, but it depends. Maybe the president will now pass or send another bill to the 8th Assembly that will encompass all these aspects, distasteful aspects of our electoral system. If he does that or signs even the one that is on his desk, that will be an improvement. You say progress is something that we have to consciously continue to aspire towards. It's not a finished business. And as people say, democracy is not an event. It's a process. So elections are an important part of the democratic process, but it's not the be-all and end-all.
Okay, well,
democracy.
Part of that process is our reportage, and Bukola Orio is in Ibadan at the moment. She's there to bring us up to date. Bukola, go ahead now. What else has happened at the moment ever since we last heard from you?
Hello and welcome to Ibadan. We've been to quite a number of places today. We are currently at Ward 11, Unit 20, where the governor just finished voting along with his wife and members of his family. Before now, we were at Akinyele local government area, precisely at Ojor, where we had a minor skirmish. We got a distress call that some hoodlums were trying to chase away the voters, and we put a call through to the police, and they rose up to the occasion. They were able to arrest 2 people and they chased the remaining people away. And we also noticed that a lot of buying and selling was going on at the Lagos garage aspect of Ojo. That was shut down too by the police promptly. But ultimately, all the places we've been to, especially the notable flashpoints, have been calm because there's a heavy presence of security operatives. Some of them were actually armed. We've been around quite a number of places. I'm being joined by the Oyo State Governor now, who just finished casting his vote, and his wife.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine. I hope everything has been going on well.
Yes, you know this area is a very peaceful area. People have been coming out. I consider it to be peaceful, free, fair, and credible. As I've said before, most of the people, the residents here are very law-abiding, and my house is two blocks away. So it's been very peaceful. The only challenge that we have is the low turnout of voters, and which I hope will be improved upon before the close of the exercise.
We've been to quite a number of places. We saw minor incidents at Ojo where some people were trying to chase away voters. We got to another place where people were trying to canvass for votes, and it was resisted, but the calm was restored and everything continued. Do you expect that kind of behavior today, judging from the kind of sensitization that had taken place before now?
Well, no matter how much you're sensitized, there will be lawbreakers, there will be criminals, there will be hoodlums in every society. And when you move towards the Ojo area, you have a preponderance of troublesome guys. So the only solace we have is that, relatively speaking, violence has been reduced considerably. So for me, it's very encouraging. There is nowhere in the world that you won't have some skirmishes. I mean, but the issue is what percentage, what's the tolerance level? I think that's what we should talk about.
And finally, sir, various people are battling for the soul of Oyo State today. Whoever emerges the winner today, what would be your major concern for your state here on? What kind of leadership would you expect to come out of this election after the result must have been announced? I
want a leadership that will take Oyo State to the next level. When we came in, you remember the state has been a state of brigandage, of subterfuge, of all sorts of criminal activities, and we were referred to as a garrison. But in the last 8 years, we've been very peaceful, and people have been going about their normal business activities. So the person that comes in should build on what we have established: peace, security, infrastructural development, education, health, and societal improvement and enhancement of goods and services. The main purpose of government is to improve the socio-economic values of its people. That we have done, and we want somebody that can leverage on that and build on it and improve on it. If you look around, Oyo State has improved considerably. We are hoping that whoever comes must have the courage. You see, leadership is not only about doing. You must envision. Not only envisioning, but you must have the courage to push through. There are times people will not like what you are doing. Later, they will appreciate what you are doing. So as a leader, you must take actions that will be in the overall interest of the society, not about a select few. But if you want to be a leader that everybody will like and smile and not get angry at, then go and be selling ice cream. But if you want to get things done, sometimes you step on toes. Just like our president is fighting corruption, corruption will fight back. If you step on toes in doing something, the toes will fight back. They will also kick you. So you must make sure that you remain a leader. and later they will appreciate you. So whoever is coming in must be resolute, must be visionary, but above all, must have courage to do what is right.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. There you have it, the Oyo State Governor, Governor Abiola Ajimobi, who just exercised his franchise near his local government here in Ibadan Southwest. We're still monitoring events from here, and I'm sure in the next 1 hour or thereabout, collation would begin, and we will still update you on events happening here in Oyo State and its environs. Over to you in the studio.
Well, yes, indeed. Thank you, Bukola Oriowo, reporting from Ibadan. We have indeed had it from the governor of Oyo State. But, Prof, when he was speaking about leadership, I was just wondering, how much of the qualities or what he expects of a leader do you think he spoke from experience?
Well, it's human to make mistakes, because he too made some mistakes during his tenure. But the way he was speaking today, he evinced the characteristics of a statesman who has a larger view of what politics is all about. I think because of his background in New York State University, I believe he went to Buffalo, so he has that American experience, especially policy studies, as they call it in America. And I don't know, did he win his election to Senate?
No, he didn't.
To Senate?
No, he didn't.
He didn't?
Yeah.
Well, I think he's a guy that you can't rule out in the future. It's not going to be the comeback kid, you know, because he's run his 2 tenures as governor. The first person, by the way, in history. But there's a vacuum in Oyo State. Adedibu is no longer with us. So the man who used to call the shots and determine what happens. But I see the governor now assuming the posture of an elder statesman. I think his experience had made him more mature, had tutored him into saying a political defeat is not the end of life. So I was really impressed by the way he spoke. Of course, he did not leave us in doubt as to his preference. He was talking of the next level, and we all know what the next level means. But your politics is littered with hooliganism, with either from the Molite side or from the Woro side. Well, in the Yoruba say, troublemaking is in the DNA of Ibadan people. But he claimed the credit for the relative peace and tranquility in that state, and for the efforts he expended in restructuring the city and maybe the larger Oyo State and all that. So I think it was like a swan song statement for the people to show that he meant well, and he did not lack the guts to do what needed to be done, because that's part of leadership. Leadership is not doing what everybody wants. It's doing what needs to be done in order to move to the next level, as they say. So I was really impressed by Governor Ajimobi. Maybe if this were America, I would have suggested that he went to UI or Ibadan Technical University
to give some
to be a professor. That is routine.
But having said that, yes. Prof, can the same be said about a state like Kwara State? As you do know, that one of the strong men in politics also didn't make it to the Senate this time around, talking about the Senate President, Bukola Saraki.
Well, I think Bukola Saraki overreached himself. He believed that the dynasty was unassailable and that he could get away with blue murder. But the people said, no, enough is enough. And I think he was not only rattled by the quote-unquote effrontery of the Kwara people, but the decisive way in which they sang their non-diamitis. They bid him goodbye, and then they said they can survive without him. I think he's not just nursing his wounds. I've read what he said, that he said in his heart of hearts, he was still, he belonged to his former party. Well, we leave the future to see. Maybe he's trying to set the scene for a return Because he's still a young man, relatively.
And he has he has a future still in politics.
Precisely. You see, this mentality in Nigeria that is do or die. If either I make it this time or we scatter everything. No, it's so short-sighted, myopic, and counterproductive. So every politician deserves another chance to remedy his lapses and then to be rehabilitated. For now, some of our friends say he's already in the political wilderness. There are people coming from the cold and write new chapters. It's too premature to write an epilogue on Bukola Saraki. He's a very gifted young man, and he himself knows that he will have another day, to stake a claim for leadership.
All right, well, we'll come back to this.